All right, good morning, everybody. I'm going to let a lot of you jump on board this conversation before we start talking, before I introduce you to my guest for today. We are really discussing your stimulus checks that are coming your way, not only what that means for you on an individual level. He's going to be discussing how businesses are impacted by forgivable loans. There's a lot going on right now, and I know you have a lot of questions, so I'm going to introduce him right now. We have Tony D'Amico that is joining us from Fidato Wealth. And hi, Mr. Tony.
Hey, Natalie. Good morning.
So I just thought it would be really amazing because I know a lot of you have so many questions regarding this. So what Tony's going to do first, Tony, I'll let you just give it kind of like an outline of what we're going to be discussing today first.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, we're going to talk about the CARES Act that was passed. It was a $2 trillion stimulus package, which is really unprecedented. And to put this into context, 1 trillion seconds equals about 31,700 years, to kind of put that into context of how much stimulus is available.
Wow. He is, real quick before you keep going, Tony, he is going to discuss, Dave, I know you're asking about unemployment. He's going to bring up some issues about that too. So yes, we will get to that. So go ahead, Tony, keep going.
Awesome. So I think the best way to frame this conversation is, let's take a look at the provisions for people that are severely impacted by this. So there's a lot of great things. So, as Dave mentioned, unemployment. So unemployment compensation has been bumped by $600 per week. And there's also an additional 13-week period now that's available for unemployment. So if you've lost your job, it's almost about 10 months worth of unemployment that you'll receive. And additionally, too, the first week of unemployment, you're eligible to get unemployment benefits immediately. In the past, you had to wait a week. So that's, really substantial in that regards, too. There's also other provisions that have happened. So evictions are being postponed. So certain rental properties are no longer able to evict tenants. Federally backed mortgages as well. They're not going to do foreclosures on any federally backed mortgages. So that's really important. And then for the other big thing that passed for individuals is that you're allowed to take out up to $100,000 from your IRA or your employer-sponsored 401k, and they're waiving the penalty that is associated with that. And
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and you can spread out the income taxes. You don't have to deduct the income taxes, and you do have a period of time to pay those taxes, and you also have up to 3 years to put the money back in. Now, I will state that you should do that kind of as a last resort, because if you take money out of your IRA or 401k at this point in time, it's really going to hamper its ability to rebound when the markets do rebound. But, as far as business owners are concerned, there's also a ton here in the CARES Act. So, one is there are forgivable loans for business owners. There are certain conditions that have to be met for it to be fully forgivable, which means that you never have to pay the money back, or partially forgivable, or sometimes not forgivable. But there's a lot there to get substantial size loans. There are still a lot of details that are coming out about all of these items and, with these loans for business owners. But it's really important because there's a lot of business owners that, that we work with our firm, such as dentists, orthodontists, hair salon owners, restaurant owners that literally, have had to obviously close their businesses. So their revenue has stopped. So these are very important provisions. And, Congress obviously got this passed, and it's a good thing because they want to keep, businesses intact for when the virus does subside, that they can return to normal. There's also payroll tax credits as well for business owners. And there's even something called an employee retention credit up to $10,000 per employee. And again, there's certain parameters that have to be met. But the biggest thing I would tell business owners out there listening is to contact your bank, whoever you bank with. Contact your bank to start that process. banks are giving priority to their existing clients first. So it's good to get in queue to start that process because it's not something that it happens within a day, right? So to kind of get in queue. But those are some of the kind of the bigger kind of lifelines, if you will, or stimulus that's available. There's also other things that are available too, if maybe you're not impacted as much, or just other tools out there. Student loan payments also have been deferred until September 30th of this year. Interest will not accrue. So if you have student loans, you can not make those federal student loan, that is, you can not make those payments. So there's some good relief there. There's also refundable, there's an income tax credit as well. And it's for married couples up to $2,400 filing a joint return. And then all other filers, it begins with a refundable credit of up to $1,200 and then $500 for each child. Now, there are earning thresholds that you have to be underneath to qualify to get those recovery rebates. But that is another tool out there. And additionally, for people that are above the age of 72, where they have to take required minimum distributions, or even, it used to be 70 and a half. So there are folks out there who are older than 70 and a half they have to take what are called required minimum distributions from their IRAs. And you have to take a certain amount each year. Well, what was passed in that legislation is that you can waive taking your required distribution in 2020. And that's important too. If somebody doesn't need that distribution, they can keep that money in their portfolio and take that distribution later at a later point in time when it might, be kind of more advantageous to them. So, but yeah, those were some of the big kind of, the big provisions in the bill. And additionally, too, it's also important to note that the Federal Reserve has taken massive action, too, to lower interest rates. So they lowered interest rates to almost zero. That will help interest that consumers pay on different things. And they've also just increased lending dramatically to the different states, municipalities, businesses, corporations. So they're doing everything they can to kind of keep the wheels going during this period. I guess lastly, I would state that too. Really this going through times like this kind of draws the importance of having a comprehensive financial plan. And making sure that your finances are organized. And part of a comprehensive financial plan accounts for these difficult times. So perhaps you're in a position where you do have a good plan in place and you can get through these times. So, but I would encourage everyone that, works with a financial planner to, not make any rash decisions and really work with them, and just to make sure that they are positioned in a way where they can get through this and have a minimal impact. So, but Natalie, those are kind of some of the high points that we see in the CARES Act. Okay.
Well, Tony, I appreciate it so much. I think if I could just have you reiterate kind of just the whole need for this, making really sure that you have a financial plan together right now. Like, there's no better time than probably now.
Yeah. I'm a certified financial planner, and, really having a comprehensive financial plan takes into account times like this. So, really just having a coordinated approach to your finances, that includes your asset allocation and investments, which is really important. Having an emergency, or what we call a cushion account, is really important. Kind of the rule of thumb is that you should have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in cash to handle emergencies like this. So yeah, I think it's really important to have that comprehensive financial picture that for sure can get you through a time like this. So really important. So again, I would encourage, if somebody does work with a financial planner, to, don't make any rash decisions, to work with them, and obviously happy to provide a second opinion if anyone needs it.
Well, I thank you so much. What I'm gathering here, I'm looking at a lot of your questions, and a lot of them are looking like they're leaning more towards the tax preparer side of things. So I really appreciate all these questions coming in. And if we didn't get your question answered today, I encourage you to keep watching. I'm going to be doing these Facebook Lives at 10:30 every morning, and I am going to get a tax preparer involved in one of these because I think a lot of these questions that you have are geared towards that. And everybody has their specialties, and I think what a lot of you are asking are geared towards that specialty. So we're going to get someone more involved in that too. But Tony, I thank you because we had a lot of folks watching you today.
Sure.
We've had Tony on New Day Cleveland. He is just a joy to work with. And so I just thought, you're just so personable and down to earth, and to break things down for us, it was really meaningful to have someone like you involved. So I thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. I really appreciate it and happy to do it. And I guess just lastly, I think it's important. These are really difficult times, right? We're dealing with difficult news, but, we're going to get through it. And there's a lot of good news happening too because of this. So we just kind of have to focus on that and get through day by day. But thanks so much for having me on.
It's a pleasure, always. Have a wonderful day today. I'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure. And
Awesome.
Stay safe out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you,
Have
Tony.
a great day. Bye-bye.